Hey everybody, we're gonna try this again.
Hey dummy, you got the volume turned on this time?
You can bet I did.
Okay.
Yeah, last night was kind of a failure because I had stolen a video. Well, it's not really the right word. I'm members of a website that has to do with law, and I used my software to download a video without getting it to YouTube or anything because it's private. I can do it because I'm a member, but I can't, use it or show it to anybody. And so I turned off the microphone and turned on the speakers. Anyway, she's right, I'm a dummy. I went through all that yesterday. Excuse me.
We had more
We had
trouble yesterday.
we had a blast yesterday afternoon making the first video, and then we find out that we didn't make anything. That she left, and I made another one and found out I didn't make anything. Then I got that piece of the video out on the third try and put it out there, and we're not sure if we're having an AI problem or what's going on, but the camera was shutting off in the middle of filming, so that's why we changed the name to My Marshmallow Solution. We're just going to look at the acronym there to find out what it's talking about, and I'm hoping that I can use this for a thumbnail. I don't know, but this is what it all comes down to, is this chlorine dioxide. And we're going to finish a little bit and take it a little bit deeper. Now, first of all, I've told you, if you watch my other videos on critical thinking and I don't remember what they are even, but I've told you not to trust me, and I don't want you to trust me, and I don't trust anybody. Trust you. Trust the Holy Spirit, or Ruach HaKodesh. And it says in the book of 1 John, is my little Bible over there? Hand me that, would you?
Sure is.
I'm going to read you something here real quick. Whoa, those are dirty glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, in the book of 1 John.
These aren't any better. I watched
And I believe this pretty much applies across the board if it has to do with a salvation issue, and what doesn't have to do with the salvation issue, really. It says here in 1 John 2:27, but the anointing, which we all know the anointing is referring to the Ruach HaKodesh, which you have received from him, abides in you. You do not need that anyone teach you, but the same anointing teaches you concerning all things. Now, last time I checked, all meant all. And is true and is not a lie. And just as it has taught you, you will abide in him. So that has to do with not just studying the word, but anything that is important to you. Would you clean those for me, please, sis? Anything that is an important life issue that you need to study out, you need to take a look at, you can ask for wisdom on it and follow it on your own. But we're going to do something just a little bit different tonight. So I'm going to turn back on the browser here, and I'm going to come over here, and we're going to look at something. These are called MSDS, or Manufacturers or Material Safety Data Sheets. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, I want to find this again. I'll go up here and show you. Come on. See, it's a safety data sheet. Now, you're supposed to have a safety data sheet on file for any chemicals you use in industry. Let's see if we can find out where we're at here. They're supposed to have a material safety data sheet for every chemical that is used wherever you work at. And let's see, I thought I could pull it all up. I can't. Okay. But what it's for is if you have any problems, you have a spill, you have this, you have that, you need to know what kind of a substance you're working with and how bad that is. Well, this is for the chlorine dioxide solution here. And the most important thing on the material safety data sheet is this LD50. That stands for lethal dose 50. And what it is, it's at what level is it a lethal dose for 50% of the test population. In this case, it's tested on rats, and it's lethal at 292 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Okay, now that's a rat, and that's what it would take for this to kill you. Now, let's do a little bit of extrapolating here, where a kilogram is 2.2 pounds, and this is roughly how much an aspirin is. What are they, 325? So you get an idea, get a visual on an aspirin. So you'd have to take an aspirin's worth of this stuff
If you were
for
the
every,
size of a rat.
no, I'm doing it this way,
Okay.
for every 2 pounds of your body weight.
All
In
right.
other words, a 200-pound man would have to take 200 aspirins worth of this in order for it to be
Oh,
fatal.
goodness.
However, it is more hazardous if you inhale it
Yeah.
for a 4-hour exposure. Okay, well, you know, who's going to be in something like that for 4 hours? There are treatments that Jim gives in his book that do require or do have a protocol for inhalation, but we're not going to go into that tonight. But this LD50, that is the most important thing. Now, this is the chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide is what's created when this one here, and look, here's the chlorine dioxide. Oh, I'm still on the same thing. Okay, I thought I pulled up a different one. My bad. I'm going to pull it up as a matter of fact. We're going to go here, and we're going to go back here. If I don't want chlorine dioxide, I want to get rid of that. Go erase. MSDS for, what do we have? Sodium. Chlorite. TE, delete. And let's take a look at the flakes real quick. Let's see how toxic they are. So we're going to go down here. Safety data. There we go. And here is our MSDS, or Material Safety Data Sheet, for sodium chlorite. Sodium chlorite are the flakes that we start this process out with, and then we take the 80% sodium chlorite flakes and we make a 22.4% solution by taking 70 grams of the flakes and putting them in 180 grams of distilled water. Okay, and that's kind of our, where are we at here? That's our formula that we're working with here. But I want to just show you this when I can get to it. Toxicological information. Here we go. Acute toxicity. The LD50, or the lethal dose for 50% of the population tested on a rat, is 284 milligrams per kilogram. Okay, that sounds to me like you could eat about a half a cup of this stuff before it would kill a man. But like I said, you know, do your own research on this. I'm sure, you know, you're going to get sick a lot quicker than that trying to take a chemical into your body, and especially one that's such a strong oxidizer. It's not caustic, okay? It kind of behaves like a caustic chemical because it will cause rust, but it's not causing rust per se, or it's not eating the metal so much as it's oxidizing the metal, where a caustic substance would oxidize or would eat it away. Mm-hmm. Like acid is caustic. Acid will dissolve it. Lye is caustic, you know. But this is an oxidizer, and that's where we get the benefit from, because when we add the acid to this substance, then we end up with, come on up there, we end up with this, which is a gas. This gas is turned loose in our system, and what happens is this right here, these two little guys here, the oxygen molecules, they go in there and they make the environment where it's not friendly to pathogenic substances, organisms, what have you, and it oxidizes heavy metals, supposedly. Now, I should say at this point that none of this is medical advice. This all has to do with what I'm doing for myself. This is mine. I've done my due diligence.
Yep.
Sherry's been here with me. She's doing her due diligence at the same time, but only I can be responsible for myself, as only you can be responsible for yourself. So, you know, I'm trying to give you the stuff where you can look into it and make whatever decisions you make. But the people I've sent it out for, it's purely for water purification. This has been used for 100 years or better for purifying water.
Do not take internally.
Yep, so don't take it internally. Make sure you know what you're doing before you take it internally. So now that takes care of the
Legal
legal
part,
part, we can get on with this a little bit. This is a crazy country we live in, as if they have any business, you know, with what we do with our bodies and our lives. They don't. They just think they do. They just assume that upon themselves. And here again, I'm not a lawyer, okay, so this is not legal advice, but it falls under a doctrine called parens patriae. And what that is, that's Latin for the state's your daddy, okay? They have classified us all as imbeciles, and we can't grow marijuana or hemp, because, you know, we got to take care of you. You're just an infant, you know. Daddy's got to take care of you. It's the stupidest thing in the world. And what they've ended up doing is there's so many things out there that are good for us that they have limited our availability and our use of them, which they don't have any right to do that.
Bitter almonds.
Pardon me?
Bitter almonds.
Oh yeah, if we get into talking about cancer sometime. There's a substance called vitamin B17, Laetrile, and it's found in bitter almonds. Well, guess what? You can't buy bitter almonds now in the United States.
Illegal.
And you can still find B17 in pretty good concentrations inside the pit of an apricot. But you know how hard it is to get a hold of apricots today? You can get them canned all day long with no pit in them.
And dried.
But try to find a pit. And I've taken these before. I've eaten them before. But on that note, since we're there, I looked at a study that said that there's been no deer or bears found in the wild that have cancer because of what they eat in their diet. B17 or Laetrile is present in nature, and they get it naturally in their diet. However, when they're taken into captivity and put in the zoo, they have the same incident of cancer that all the other animals have. So go figure on that one. But that's the thing. Big brother or daddy just wants to kill you. That's what it comes down to.
The elite.
And so we are responsible for ourselves. Now, all that being said, we're going to go back over here. We've looked at this LDL 50, you know, the LD50, the lethal dose 50 number for the acute toxicity is way up there. You know, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with this. I've got no problems. I'm not going to get enough of this stuff to hurt myself. Okay, inhalation here, they say no data available. So I guess nobody's snorting lines of it. I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway,
Couldn't get the rats.
Let's go back over here and let's talk about Jim Humble a little bit. I'm going to read a little bit from his book tonight on this and give you some more information. I don't remember in the first video if I read, but on the home page it says a word from Jim Humble. I don't remember if I read this or not. I think I did. But see, like I say, this is the fourth time.
So many videos, we don't know if it's actually been
exactly,
posted.
exactly. So if there's something missing, something somebody needs, put it in the comments. And do like and share this, please, also, because I really feel for Sherri and I, this is kind of like our ace in the hole. Now, I'm not negating the power of Yahuwah to protect me through this pandemic. But I know that when we finally got the product here and we mixed some up, we had been down for a week, a little more than a week, and we were both extremely sick. We had a flu, and one dose, and within hours our flu was gone. By 2 doses, the flu was gone, the body aches were gone, and we were feeling pretty chipper. I was thinking, wow, this is pretty amazing, because right in the door, as soon as we start with this stuff, we get a really good testimony on it. And I think I did mention, I've got a squamous cell cancer here on my hand. I don't know if you can see that right here. And it's almost invisible, where it was scaly and flaking. And this is what, our 23rd day, I believe? 22nd, 23rd day we've been taking this stuff.
22nd, yeah.
And it's almost gone. Sherri reached down on her leg the other night. We were in her room and we were talking, and she scratched down on her leg, and an age spot fell off.
Well, it was something like that.
It was something like this, actually. We considered it an age spot, and it had been there for years. You know, I've seen my sister's leg enough to remember the little blemishes, you know.
I was a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Sun bathing.
Oh, yeah, she was a sun goddess, I'm afraid. Yeah. She couldn't keep her clothes on in the summertime when she was a teenager. But that's, you know, that's where we grew up in the 70s. That's just the way it was. All the little girls were out there trying to get suntans, and we were too.
And the tires fixed.
Right?
The story behind that.
Yeah, we'll tell you. Maybe we'll share that one someday. I don't know. That might not be appropriate.
Dad was so mad.
But anyway, he's got on his homepage here, there's a whole bunch of diseases from Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, AIDS, malaria, all the way down. I'm not sure if I read it or not, so I'm not going to, beat a dead horse and read it again. You can come back here and read this. But he says right here, by far this is not a comprehensive list. I know it sounds too good to be true, but according to feedback I've received over the last 20 years, I think it's safe to say MMS has the potential to overcome most diseases known to mankind. Now, the next part's what's important. It's important to note that MMS does not cure disease. MMS is an oxidizer. It kills pathogens and destroys poisons. When these are reduced or eliminated in the body, then the body can function properly and thereby heal. I often say the body heals the body. MMS helps to line things up so the body can do just that. And I should have looked it up. Last time I mentioned this, and I don't remember if it's in the video that actually published or if it's one that dumped on us. But somewhere, I believe it's in Exodus, it talks about Yahuwah Rapha, I believe. Is that it?
Yahuwah Rapha.
Yahuwah Rapha, which means basically the mighty one that heals. Or no, that would be Elohim. Or
The Elohim that heals,
Yeah, maybe that's how it goes. I don't remember, but you can look it up, and a lot of people are familiar with that. See, all healing comes from Father. In allopathic medicine, what they do is they treat diseases. They don't heal diseases. They don't advertise healing diseases. They treat. And most of the time, what they're doing is they're giving you a chemical that makes the symptoms somewhat manageable, and
causes other problems.
Yeah, you've got
it's all
one little thing like this that it says on the package insert that it takes care of, and then you've got a list this long of the side effects. But what they try to do is to treat it and to make the symptoms manageable, but in the end, at the end of the day, it's your Father in heaven who does the healing. See? And that's kind of like this here. What we're trying to do, we're trying to detox. We're trying to get this stuff out of our bodies. Then we've got some bentonite clay. We've played with that
and the
now.
borax capsules.
And that's another one we're taking. Everybody should go look up Dana Ashley's video on the 5G. But we're taking the 20 Mule Team Borax. We've got, a number 00 capsule, I think. We've got a vegan capsule from the health food store. And we fill it about a quarter of the way full. Take it 3 times a day. And that helps get rid of the nanoparticulates that we're taking in through the air, through the water, through the food. That's the nanoparticulates are supposed to be the basis for Morgellons disease.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to touch on that too much because it's pretty easy to get these videos bumped nowadays. But anyway, this is a little bit easier to talk to y'all, by the way, having Sherri here talking with me. It's kind of weird when I'm just sitting here talking to a computer. I'm not a presenter, and I'm pretty new to this. But hey, I'll get it. Hopefully,
we do with what we have.
in the interim, you guys get something that you can use. So anyway, it's Yahuwah that's going to do the healing, but we're trying to cleanse the body. Now, I don't know if I talked about this or not.
Sometimes it leads us to the healing.
Exactly. We always have our part to do in everything, And we're going to take a look at a verse here in a little while, but that's going to kind of tell us what it's going to be like, I think, at the very end for the believers. But up until that time, up until the time that it's so bad out there that He's got to step in and protect us, we're going to be going through some stuff, and we've got to do what we can do. So for Sherri and I, it was the right decision to check this out and to try to detox with it. And then we, like I said, it's water purification, if nothing else. So we've sent it out to some friends, and these friends just happen to have autoimmune diseases, and they're intelligent. So if they do their own due diligence and decide to follow in our footsteps, that's on them. We're not practicing medicine by any stretch of the imagination.
No, we're just sharing
This
what
is
we
simply a testimony. That being said, let's go on over here for a second and look. And MMS right here, it talks about how to make MMS. And then there's the history. Whoops, where did we go here? There's the history, some protocols, testimonials, where to buy it. Now Jim is a part, or he has some part, and I'm not really sure, and I don't really care.
It's a weird church. They
Yeah,
don't have
he
very-
has done a ministry. It's called the Genesis 2 Church. Somehow he's involved in this,
It's a crazy church.
but he's not really into it. They're just into using this stuff and healing. Now, the way the laws are written, anybody can make a church, okay? You don't have to be a 501c3. In fact, you don't want to do that. And I think it's a 505, something like that. You're automatically, if you're a church, you're automatically exempt from taxes.
Exactly.
And it's even possible that you can give out receipts for contributions so that the people that contribute to your church can get their tax refunds.
Which is tacky.
But you know, we get talking a little bit later on. I'm going to tell you how you're volunteering to pay income tax, and you don't have to pay 1 penny of income tax. And I'll back it up with case law. But you gotta know how to defend your rights. You gotta know how to exert your rights. This was Thomas Jefferson, I think I've mentioned this before, said that a nation that expects to be free and ignorant wants what never has been nor never will be. You just can't do it. You gotta have the knowledge if you wanna be free. And I believe in the age we live in that it's required of us that we have some knowledge, that we can manage our own affairs and take care of our own life. We're getting poisoned from all sides, and we've got to do what we can do. We've got our part to do. You know, we can't just sit there like the guy on the front porch in the flood. The boat comes by and says, you wanna lift? I'll get you out of here. He says, no, I'm gonna wait for God to save me. Then pretty soon the water's up further. He's on top of his roof, and a helicopter comes by and says, you want to lift? We need to get you out of here. He says, no, I'll just wait for God to save me. So finally he drowns. When he gets up to heaven, he says, well, God, I was waiting for you to save me. He says, what do you want? I sent you a helicopter and a boat. Well, maybe this is our helicopter and boat right here. You know, we don't know. We don't know, but our relationship with the Most High and where we're at, that's all, you know, he works with hearts individually, and we're not all in the same place at that point in time, or at any point in time. He's, you know, like my friend Brandon Sibley says, we speak from our highest level of ignorance. You know, we are ignorant. We don't know it all. We're not omniscient like the Father is. But, you know, we can educate ourselves, and we can get a little less ignorant. So that's kind of what we're trying to do with this. Anyway, I beat that horse enough. Let's go back to the MMS, how to make it. The instructions are not found in the book. The instructions are found here, and I believe I went over it a little bit. And it talks about how to do it. And the basic recipe is down here on this page on jimhumboldt.com, and it tells you everything. Now, my friends that I sent out 70 grams of the 80% flakes, and I sent out 180 grams of the citric acid powder. Now, the citric acid powder is 100% citric acid, and it's a 50% solution. So that's a no-brainer. You put 180 grams of water with 180 grams of powder, you got a 50% solution. But we're talking grams, and we're talking fluid ounces. And what I did is I reduced this down and came up, or not reduced it. The word escapes me. It doesn't matter. I changed it and converted it from grams to liquid measure. Okay, and I came up with it is 6.09 ounces is 180 grams of water. Now, in my other video, I think I showed you that's about 3/30 seconds above the 6 mark on a regular Pyrex 1 cup measuring cup.
We lost that
Huh?
one. Didn't we
I think
lose
we
it?
might have lost that one. But so just barely above the line. You know, we're talking 3/30 seconds. What's that? Around 100,000, around 1/10 of an inch above the line
There's still
is
more.
6.9 ounces, fluid ounces. Okay, because there again, ounces, you have a liquid measure, this by volume, and you have a weight measure, which, you know, 16 ounces in a pound. So we're talking about liquid ounces here, and you can do that with a measuring cup. So my friends aren't going to have to go out and buy a scale. I've done that for them, and this is close enough. Now, with what I figured out reading Jim's other book, I forgot to pull that up. I'm gonna do that real quick, I think. And because there is one that you can get, it was at archive.org, I believe. Let's try this. Jim Humble PDF. I think that's how I did it before. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, this is not the one. Well, here's one here.
Free download.
This one here. Let's see, I'm looking. Archive.org. I think this is the one.
Educate yourself.
Okay. Well, this looks like it's a video. Okay. And let's pull up the PDF file and see what it is. You know what? Oh, I was going to say, I just download it. Breakthrough Miracle Mineral Solution of the 21st Century. So, this has got a lot of it right here. There's another book out there, too, that I had pulled up, and I don't know if it got in the video or not. This one here is a 2006 book, and it's got a lot of the background information in it. I don't remember which book it was. You see here we see the chlorine dioxide again. This is published in 2006, and this is note is dated for 2009. It links to jimhumblefoundation.org. You might want to go check that out. But like I said, you got to do your due diligence on this and figure it out. But if this virus comes along, I feel pretty confident that I'm going to start taking a good dose of it, you know, if there's any symptoms. If I become symptomatic at all, or if I'm exposed, you know,
Well,
and
not
I'm going to
just
stay
sick.
once
We were
I'm...
sick.
Pardon
We
me?
were both sick.
Yeah, we were both sick, and it knocked it right out.
Yeah.
So,
Not just with that, though. I mean, I was dying in September. If Steve hadn't come home, I don't think I'd be alive right now. It was that bad.
That's why I came back here. It was because Sherri had been diagnosed with lupus that was
Full-blown severe, yeah.
was full blown, and we thought that, you know, this was going to be really bad. And
And it
when I
was.
got back here, she was unable to get out of bed, yelling in the middle of the night, all night, just in horrible pain, taking all kinds of pain pills that weren't touching it. And the main reason I wanted Sherri here tonight is because Sherri has something to tell you about her pain medication that I think is really, really cool.
I do too.
So, scoot over here a little bit, sis.
Okay.
In fact, take this chair. I'll just let you talk for a minute. Tell them what's going on.
Okay. I've had lupus and other autoimmune diseases probably since about 13. Lupus probably starts about puberty with most people. In 2008, 2007, I was in the hospital with another autoimmune disease because if you have one, you're going to get more. Your immune system is that compromised. I had pyodermic gangrenosum on my hands, and so they were running all kinds of tests and said, "Oh, you have lupus," and I kind of figured that. But I haven't had any problem with it. I didn't think. So anyways, I had the sores from the pyodermic gangrenosum in my colon, and I was terminal. I was dying. And so they put me on Oxycontin, 80 milligrams every 8 hours because it was so painful. I couldn't stand it. I was so high, I didn't know if I was coming or going. And my ex-husband had had surgery at that time and was taking a methadone pill for pain. And he said, "Why don't you try this? It works, and I'm not high." And so I tried it, and it worked, and I did what I could think. And so I went to my doctor, and I said, "No, I'm not taking this no more. You're going to put me on the methadone." And he did. But then he wouldn't take me off of it once I wasn't terminal anymore because he keeps saying, "Oh, you're still terminal." No, I'm not, you know. I don't have that pain in my stomach. I've had pain other places, but he wouldn't take me off of it. And I got another doctor last summer. He's been taking me off of it. I was down to 10 milligrams. And this is we're talking from 2008. I started taking the methadone. And I was taking 50 milligrams up until last summer. Okay,
How many? 50?
50 milligrams till last
Okay, when
summer.
I came back,
And
you were
I
on
had,
40.
yeah, he had got me down to 40. Well, maybe it was 40. Yeah, that's right. It was 40. Because
Okay.
I had gone down like 2 or 3 years before to
Okay.
40. Okay. And what was I saying now? Anyways, I've been like in withdrawal, constant withdrawal, and in pain
Since
since
September?
since last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much pain, and then with the withdrawal symptoms, because I went down. I almost killed myself, but just stopped taking it, you know. And my doctor had a cow over that one, and he said, "Don't ever do that again," because it's in my bones. It has leached into my bones, and so it would take months and months of withdrawal symptoms after I quit taking it altogether.
And mind you, she's doing a withdrawal where she's tapering off.
Yeah.
Versus just cold turkey.
But I still would taper off to the point where I might be okay for a week, and then I would cut it down again and go through all that for another 2 or 3 weeks, you know. It's like once a month, tapering it down a little more. So I was taking 10 milligrams last month. I went to the doctor, and he said, "Okay, do you think you can take it down to 7?" And I'm like, "I'll try." And then we got the Miracle Mineral.
Right.
And I took it down to 5, no problem. And then about a week later, Steve said, "How are you doing on the 5 milligrams?" or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I haven't taken it."
And she hadn't even realized
I
that
hadn't
she
even
hadn't
realized
taken
it because I wasn't having pain. The wild lettuce extract worked better than anything for pain. The inflammation. It takes care of inflammation.
As does the marshmallow solution.
Yeah, my marshmallow solution. So I didn't even realize that it's pulling that methadone out of my body, out of my bones, and putting it into my body, and letting my body detox itself naturally. Eventually, it'll all be out of the bones, and I think a lot faster with this. But I couldn't believe it. Why isn't this in like every single drug center, or drug rehab? People suffer so terribly getting off of something you're addicted to, especially an opiate that goes into your bones. And it takes months before you're actually normal again. It's horrible. And this stuff, within a week, had me off of methadone after being on it for 11 years. So that's incredible. And I had energy. I can think. I'm not hurting as bad.
Yeah, and she's out of bed helping me. It's nice to have help once again.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, everybody, from January 7th until, 3 weeks ago, you started first. You wouldn't let me start that first week. So then he had made me wait for another week, so.
So you actually started some.
A little bit.
Real light dose.
A little bit, yeah. But everything that could go wrong in our life has gone wrong, so we are so behind on everything. So if we owe you seats or something, let me know. We're trying. It's just been crazy. Plus, we had a roommate we finally got rid of. So it's so much calmer, and there's shalom in the house again. So, anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know about that. If anybody out there that is on opiates, addicted to opiates, this MMS, I promise you, will help. Because it does get stuck down in the bones. Also causes osteoporosis, and if you're tiny like I always was, you're more apt to get osteoporosis. Was being the key word there.
Are you ready to change seats again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like a different person. I feel like I'm 20 years younger, and I'm acting like it, aren't I? I took the dog for a walk today. I took the dog for a walk, by myself.
Yeah, that hasn't happened in a long time.
No, because I'm not supposed to be out walking.
Okay. Well, forgive us for having to change places, but we're not all that concerned about appearances and trying to make this all polished and everything. We're more worried about content. This is not about us. It's about we've come to the point in the end times that we knew that we just couldn't keep our mouths shut anymore. We had some things to offer, and so we were going to start offering them. And there's a learning curve with doing this. That's why I haven't cleaned up the website or the channel.
It took us a couple of months to get everything for the MMS too.
It took us a while to get it, I haven't cleaned everything up. I want you to see us warts and all. Hey, we're just down to earth people. We put on our pants one leg at a time. I tried doing that both legs at a time once. It didn't work real well, so we're just like everybody else. And
we're a lot worse than everybody else, I think.
yeah, we've even got our hedgehog cage sitting on the coffee table here, you know, and so what?
Who's lonely?
Yeah, right. We rescued a hedgehog about 3 years ago. Cute little porcupine about that big. Maybe someday I'll introduce him to y'all, but and that's what it comes down to. You know, there's a learning curve on this, and we are very busy. We don't have the time just to get into the software and learn
We're
everything.
working ourselves to death with CTs.
If you guys know us, you'll see that we're not pretentious. And in fact, in one of the Psalms, and I don't know it on the top of my head, David says in a prayer to keep him from pretentious sins. You know, so we're trying to walk the walk as well as talk the talk.
But we're
And
not perfect.
We're not perfect, not by a long shot. Don't claim to be. And you know, we're just
see
a
us
brother
having
and a sister.
knockdowns
We're not
out.
we're not teachers. We're not prophets. We're not pastors. Oh, I hate it when guys call themselves pastor this, pastor that. But no, we're just regular everyday people. We ran across something. I feel Yahuwah led us to it because we really did have a situation where we could have lost Sherri.
And the desire of my
It's
heart
been a miracle
is to help others.
so far, and now we're able to, you know, give back a little bit where it's just been such a struggle. So,
It has
and
been.
this stuff has really helped us. It really has helped us. And
Oh, we're not getting a thing for this, by the way. We
No.
don't get like any kickbacks or anything.
We're
No,
not.
we're taking every penny we can get and buying the stuff, sending it to people that can't afford it.
Right.
No, we're not trying to.
And we are not going to ever monetize the channel. At some point, we may have to start a store, you know, because as you come out of the system, the thing that this is all about, you become 100% responsible for yourself. You know, there's no government safety net there.
Right. My
No.
SSI don't cut it, and it's
No,
going
it
to be
doesn't.
going soon.
But back to this. This book looks to be pretty good, and it's free on the internet. You can read this. This one is at archive.org. I'm going to get out of this one. And there was another one in here I found at archive.org also.
Okay, go back to
Let's
that
go
one.
back one more.
Maybe in the mints.
Give me just a moment to search. I think it was this one right here. Is this archive? This is not archive.
I can't see from here.
I'm just going to keep going down.
200
'Cause
books.
I was pretty sure that was archived. In fact, I know it was archive.org that I found the other book. And here it is. This one here. And I want to go to this book anyway because the Master Mineral Solution of the Third Millennium. How's this going to come up this time? Last time it came up in a weird format. Oh, it came up in the right format this time. It came up in a format, and right up here it said other formats. I clicked on it, and that one was kind of a text format that only had, if you say from here to here, that column's where all the text was, and all the rest of it was wasted, and it was hard to read. But this one here, you can go through the pages right here, and a quick reference guide to it, and he even starts with the Protocol 1000 and tells you a little bit about it. This is page 25. That's not, I don't think that's the starter protocol. In fact, I'm sure it's not. I haven't.
Destroyed.
The other video that I made when I referenced this book is the only time I've seen this book in recent history. I did read a book online about 2008, 2009. But like I said, until I heard Brandon Sibley talking about being on this for 2 years, I was reluctant. I think chlorine, bleach. I make that association. And the FDA also.
Oh, the misinformation. You got to really
Yes,
dig
absolutely.
through the misinformation.
And this is a good point to bring this up right here.
Big Pharma doesn't want you to know.
Whoops, that's not it. That's not it.
Go back.
Okay, let's put this back up. Let's put this back up.
There we go.
And let's come over here, right here. Now, about a week ago, I found this on the coronavirus. And this guy here, we can't see it. I'm not going to play it because of copyright, so I'm just going to give it just a second. Oh, there's his name. Cliff High. I need to get this out of the way, so I've got to turn it on for a second.
Okay.
Cliff High on Twitter. There it is right there. I'm going to turn it off. He has this U.S. Army decontamination manual, and I went and checked this out and downloaded the manual and watched it. I wouldn't suggest watching it because the guy cusses like a sailor. It's not very professional at all. He's obviously not a believer. I don't think, because of his language and his other actions on it. But also in here, he really starts ragging on the My Marshmallow solution. I'm trying not to say that name. I just don't want it to get kicked. I'm taking the Dana Ashley approach when she's talking about the 5G. But it feels kind of weird to have to do that. But you know, YouTube is getting rid of a lot of good people off of YouTube, and we want to stick around for a little while. We know we're not going to have this tool for very long, and so we're not going to waste a lot of time trying to do, you know, fancy videos.
Already everything's being taken down.
Oh yeah, we're not going to waste a bunch of time on the software and on thumbnails and all that. I'm still spending a few minutes here and there learning more about it. But anyway, this guy here, he had a bunch of things to say. I watched the video, and then I started looking at his sources. And all of his sources are mainstream medical, like AMA, American Medical Association, and things like that.
Yeah.
So his information here, and the way he presents it, and then the way that the one thing that I think might help me is he's trying to tear that down and putting out what I believe is misinformation on it. Well, his sources tells me he's part of the powers that be, and I think he's a shill. That's my opinion. Absolutely. If he don't like it, he can sue me. I'll meet him in a court. I don't care. I don't care, because yeah, I don't think it's cool at all what is going on. And this, when I took a closer look at this,
lying to people.
I saw that this actually was fear porn. The things he was saying about it's going to go around the world 3 times, and you're going to have to leave a set of clothes outside of your house and wash everything and blah blah blah. And it sounds like he's really doing something with this manual here. But then at the end of the day, a person with reasonable intelligence and critical thinking skills can see through what he's saying there. You know, see that it is actually, he's pushing fear porn, and he's trying to take their mind off of doing something to help themselves. And that's what this all comes down to for us. Detoxing to help ourselves.
Things like elderberry, you know, that really boosts the immune system too, you know. I mean, there's so many things out there to help the immune system. You don't have to. And pain, I can't believe that lettuce extract, wild lettuce extract, grows in my backyard. Jeremiah's little sister sent me a bottle of it a few months ago, and I couldn't believe it. How it helped, took the swelling down on my knees where I could walk. It was incredible. There's so many.
And there's the cover. That's what I was looking for. But anyway, let's go back up here for a second. We'll just use the slider and jump way to the middle of the book. Oh, hypochlorous acid and table salt. Okay, this is getting into a little bit of the chemistry of it. This hypochlorous acid is what the immune system makes naturally to fight off pathogens. But this has to do with the MMS2, which is calcium hypochlorite. And that we're going to work that in a later protocol. But right now the protocol is that we were supposed to do, and I know I put this in the other video, is you start out with a quarter of a drop. Well, how in the world do you get a quarter of a drop? Go get the measuring cup for me, okay? And bring the measuring cup and a glass of milk. Let's just do a little demonstration here.
Okay. Every time we do demonstrations, we lose our video.
Not tonight. But anyway, you start out with a quarter of a drop on the first day. And I said 8 to 10 hours. I don't know where I got that from, because when I was reading the book, it says that you take it for 8 hours while you're awake on the hour. The stuff apparently stays in your system for about an hour to an hour and a half. And that's why you take it so often. What you're trying to do is create an environment that is not conducive to the growth of pathogens, and that will oxidize and basically burn up the heavy metals in your body. And I believe, oh, my neuropathy in my feet is so much better in just a short time I'm taking it.
Swelling's down.
But, yes.
The swelling's down big time, too.
Here's what we're going to do. I hope you can see this, because I don't have any way to see what I'm doing and where the camera is. we've got a regular measuring cup, and right over here is a 4-ounce line. I'm using milk so you can see a little bit better. When we have the activated MMS, the 1 drop, we put 1 drop in this cup first of all, then we put a drop of activator on it, and we wait for 30 seconds. Then we add 4 ounces of water. That gets us to this point right here. If I want to take a quarter of a drop, I pour off into another vessel.
Glass or plastic only.
Let's talk, yeah, glass and plastic only, absolutely.
No
No metal at all. So that's about 1 ounce. So what I poured off is what I would take. This I would throw away. And each hour I will mix it up again. Then the next day I come along, I put my 4 ounces of water on my activated solution, and for every hour that day I'm going to pour off about 2 ounces. There I'm taking a half a drop. This is garbage again, throw it away. Next hour make 2 drops more. Add water to it after it's activated, and so on and so forth. On the 4th day you're up to a full drop. And then at that point in time, you know, you can stay on a full drop and increase as you're able. Now, the situation that I was in, and knowing that I'm a lot stronger than she is, you know, I was a carpenter all my life, and, you know, horticulturist, and I've always done things that are physical. You know, I was a runner for years, and so I figured I was in a lot better shape and a lot stronger, so I really pushed it. And today, I'm taking 6 drops. And I'm having a reaction from that. I've got a headache right now. It's nothing that's unmanageable, and it's not like a migraine. It's a pressure. I can't even explain it. Got a little bit in the back of my neck here. Got a little bit of pressure right here, but it's very manageable. I haven't had the diarrhea and the nausea from it, but I'm taking 6 drops of this stuff. I'm hitting the pathogens in my body pretty hard, and I can see the difference. Like I say, the skin cancer is not gone, but it hasn't looked this good in 10 years. What else was I going to look at here? And then I've got this book here. This is the one that I bought that we started getting the protocols out of. And one of the things I was going to do tonight in this video is I was going to read a couple of things out of this book. First of all, there's a disclaimer. And I'm going to read the disclaimer, a part of it. He says, and this doesn't have a page number, it's 2 or 3 pages in, we do not claim, nor do we believe that these protocols heal the human body. MMS1, MMS2, bentonite clay, Aztec clay in parentheses, aloe vera, DMSO, and all other substances, natural or otherwise, mentioned in the book do not in any way cure or heal the body. MMS1 and MMS2 are oxidizers that destroy poisons and kill pathogens by oxidation. And that's it in a nutshell, okay? MMS2, hypochlorous acid, HOCl, it looks like, is the same oxidizer that the human immune system generates in order to destroy pathogens and poisons. Bentonite clay is not a healing agent, but rather it absorbs poisons and pathogens and carries them out of the body. A great deal of evidence given by the FDA, EPA, and various industrial corporations prove scientifically that MMS1, chlorine dioxide, kills or oxidizes pathogens and poisons in food, public water systems, hospitals, even slaughterhouses. It is our belief that the same thing can and does happen in the human body. And then he goes on to talk about anecdotal evidence. In other words, stories from other people. I don't remember, was it page 80? I don't think so. I had a marker in this, and I took the marker out.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the starter protocol in the book. I guess that's why they have a table of contents. Starting procedure, page 79.
Did you tell them distilled water?
I will. Okay. Okay, chapter 6 on page 79 talks about the key protocols and the starting procedure that must be done before following the protocol 1000, 1000 plus, 2000, or 3000. This procedure will assure you greater success, as there have been people who without it have experienced nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or excessive tiredness, sometimes within the first week or so of starting Protocol 1000. Many give up right then instead of persisting. You can't blame them. They've heard how great MMS is, then it makes them feel bad, so they give up. This is because they started taking too much MMS too quickly to begin their protocol. Please believe me when I say this is the starting procedure. I'm sorry, I should put my glasses on. Please believe me when I say this starting procedure is extremely important to you for your health recovery. It can help you avoid unnecessary sickness as it helps your body gradually become accustomed to MMS. The starting procedure consists of taking MMS1 in very low doses to start out and working up slowly to a 1-drop dose over a period of 4 days. And that's the little demonstration I did, impromptu demonstration with the milk. There is an exception to this rule. See variation on page 82. MMS1 goes to work on killing disease. But if you go too fast, the poisons from dead pathogens, parenthetically it says any disease-producing agent, builds up in the body faster than the body can get rid of them. These poisons mainly can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes other distress, such as extreme tiredness, can also be experienced. This is called a Herxmeyer reaction, as explained in the definition of terms on page 6. Going through the starting procedure can help one avoid or minimize the Herxmeyer reaction. Now, I don't know if I read it in the other video, so I'm going to go back to page 6 and read it real quick. Herxmeyer reaction. Anytime large amounts of pathogens are being killed off in the body quicker than the body is able to eliminate the toxins that the dead pathogens produce, it can cause nausea, vomiting, headaches, diarrhea, or other distress, such as excessive tiredness. This is called a Herxmeyer reaction and is common when going through a detoxification program, such as following the protocols in this book. And I might add, that is with any detox protocol. It doesn't have to be MMS, it can cause the reaction. Please note that although the experience may not make you feel particularly good, experience a Herxmeyer reaction is usually a sign that healing is taking place. This book contained guidelines on how to ease into the process of detoxification and hopefully help one minimize the effects of a Herxmeyer reaction. So, that's what that's all about. And like I said, I've been pushing it since day one because I knew Sherri was going to want to take it. And I know I'm stronger than she is, or at least she was. She's coming along a lot. And I figured I could handle it. She couldn't. So I pushed myself. And like I say, I was taking multiple drops from the start. I don't think I ever did start out on the 1 drop. I think the first dose I took was 3 drops. And then yesterday on the other video, I think it's the one that I managed to get uploaded. I took a 6-drop dose, and I've taken 6-drop doses today, several of them, and I'm doing fine except for a little headache. But even so, a headache's a small price to pay. Now, he also mentioned here on page 79, I believe it was, that there's an exception to the rule on page 82. Let's go see what that is real quick. Note, in the case of a very sick person, start out the starting procedure with even less than 1/4 drop dose, which is suggested above. For an extremely sick person, start with a 1/8 drop every hour for 8 hours for 1 day. Then do the starting procedure followed by Protocol 1000. Whoops, lost it there. Okay.
When you're in agony and you know you're dying, you'll take it and you won't care about the headache or a little nausea.
Oh no, absolutely not. And there are protocols in this book for people with stage 4 cancer that I have no evidence whatsoever that I could give that they are going to help except what's in this book. But they're saying, he even claims he's got a protocol in here for somebody that has an hour to live. But I guess if you got an hour to live, or if you got stage 4 cancer, you know, it might be worth trying anything. That would, if I would try,
Absolutely.
I would try.
I know Father has other things for me to do in this life before I die. He just
Exactly.
does.
For both of us. See, because
Yeah.
I've been, since June 8th of last year, I've had a recurring bout of cellulitis in this leg. My leg has been
Not being able to
swollen.
walk.
My leg and my feet have been swollen to twice their normal size. And I really thought that any more construction work was out for me. Now I'm thinking I might actually get back to where I can work. My leg is in great shape. I've been to a vascular surgeon and had an ultrasound done on it. And I've got a couple of weak valves, but nothing worth doing surgery on. But something's going on in that leg. And there's been a burning pain at the end of the, what's that, the femur?
I don't know.
I can't remember what that shin bone is. I think it's the femur.
No, the
But
femur.
down,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't
The
know.
bone in his lower leg, okay?
The bone in the lower leg. There you
There you
go.
go.
Down by the ankle. There's been a burning on the inside of the leg right there, and that was getting really bad. I don't know, what was it?
Oh, no, he was in agony with that all the time.
Yeah, but I took a pain pill. Oh my goodness, what, 2 or 3 months, about 2 months ago, something like that. Went to my doctor and said, yeah, I had to take a pain pill. This is so bad. And my doctor got so mad at me because I took a pain pill that he didn't prescribe.
Huh.
Well, you know what? I don't need his permission
Not really.
to not be miserable. I'm sorry. And that's what it's all about. When you take responsibility for yourself, and when you come out of the system, see, I'm most of the way out of the system right now. And that's what this channel is supposed to be all about, because we have to separate ourselves from the beast system. And there's going to be some really interesting stuff coming up with that in the next week, I would think, that I will be making some videos on. Anyway, back to the problem at hand, or the issue at hand. So, when you went through the quarter drop for 8 hours on the first day, then a half drop on the second day, 3/4 of a drop on the third day, and work up to 1 drop, it says, step 1, activate 1 drop of MMS as per instructions and mixing a basic dose of MMS1 on page 32. Now we're going to go back and we're going to read page 32, just so we have this covered. Okay. Always use an empty, clean, dry drinking glass. I prefer to use a clear glass, and the measuring cup works just fine for me. Tilt the glass slightly sideways and drop your drops of MMS so they go to the corner of the bottom part of the glass. Bring the MMS and some water in the measuring cup.
Right now anyways.
Do you? Okay, great. Great. And we're going to demonstrate this for you. Always hold the dropper bottle or pipette straight up and down when dropping the drops. If using 50% solution of citric acid or 4% solution of hydrochloric acid, add the same amount of activator on top of the MMS drops. For each drop of MMS, add 1 drop of acid. Bring plenty of water, okay? We're both going to do this.
Distilled water.
Yes, it has to be distilled. And a couple of weeks ago, I started out making some colloidal silver by an electrolysis process. About 2 hours into it, I noticed some black flakes in there, and I thought I had pure silver, but then I got scared, so I ran back up to the coin store, and what I was using silver eagles. And it's really simple to do. You need pure silver for it, though. So I went back up there, and yes, silver eagles are 99.999% pure, which is the minimum purity you can use for making that. Well, I set it up, I put the batteries connected to it, had an anode and a cathode. On one coin was the anode, one was the cathode, and I just melted a hole in the top of a mayonnaise lid, put what I thought was distilled water, well, it said distilled water on it, filled the jar up all the way. It was a, let's see.
Myers or Walmart.
Yeah, here, hold this for me for a minute.
They're so
I'm
kind.
going to use this jar right here. Using one of these types of ball jars, but not with a metal lid. I used a plastic lid, and I had a coin here and a coin here. I melted a hole with a soldering iron in there to hold the coins down into the water. And you hook up a lead to one side for the anode, the other side for a cathode, and you take 3 9-volt batteries. You hook them together where one 9-volt battery is facing this way, one's facing that way. You put them together, and this one bridges the two batteries, and you've got them in series. So you get 27 volts that way. And you run the 27 volts through there, and it takes a while for the process to get started, but then once it starts, you end up, it starts going quicker because distilled water is not a conductor. So anything that gets the process started has to be some impurity in there. Well, like I said, within about a half hour or to an hour or something like that, I had some black flakes that were forming in there, and I thought it was the coin. Well, you got to be real careful. The reason you don't use 90% coins like the pre-1964 coins is because, excuse me, they have nickel in them, and nickel will poison you if you get that into your solution. So, and it's not that good to take colloidal silver anyway. It's kind of a last ditch effort. And there's a reason for that, but this is beyond the purview of this video.
I was taking antibiotic eye drops for over a week. They could not
we
get rid of
used
this eye
it for
infection.
that.
Yeah.
And you can take it internally,
Two doses, and
but it's best if you can avoid taking the colloidal silver. It's not a silver bullet, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna mix up a batch for you.
MMS.
Okay, there's the MMS. And I don't know where you can see at. So would you hold this right here, Sherri?
You're not going to be able to see the color or anything, I'm sure.
No, probably not.
We have to hold it against something white to watch it turn color.
Yeah, it's hard to see now. Yeah. Tip it a little bit so we got a corner. Take the dropper in there, and you put one drop right there. You want two?
Yeah, I'm doing two today.
Okay, there's two for Sherri. Now that's the MMS solution, 22.4% solution. Then this is the activator, which is a 50% citric acid solution. And right on top of the other drops, I'm going to go 1, 2. So it's a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. Put one drop of this, one drop of this. 10 drops of that, 10 drops of this.
Nice. You wait about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you wait about 30 seconds, and while you're waiting, let me hold it over here. You kind of swirl it just a little bit so you make sure the two liquids mix together. But they're not spread all over the bottom of the cup because I've got the cup tilted, and they're naturally finding the low point there. Now I can see it. It's starting to turn color, and I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer because it will get more amber. But now I can smell it now. It's activated, and I don't know if you'll be able to see the color shift or not on the camera. But there it is, and it's ready to go. Okay, 4 ounces of water.
I can't see the ounce.
Okay, right to my finger here. And this part's not critical. No. More. Stop. There we go. Bottoms up.
Got to drink it within 60 seconds.
Yeah, you're supposed to drink it within 60 seconds. And what happens is when it's activated, it produces the what was the stuff called? This one right here.
Oxidizes your body, really.
The chlorine dioxide.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I get confused on all these terms.
In your body.
Yeah.
Cancer can't live in oxygen-rich environments.
Right. Most pathogens don't like oxygen-rich environments. They like an anaerobic environment without oxygen.
The same with parasites.
Now I think I went over it a little bit here. Hold on, I'm gonna take 6 drops here in a second. Okay. I went over it a little bit. I'm a horticulturist also, and when we're dealing with plants and dealing with fungal diseases, the things that will kill fungal diseases are generally biocides. They'll kill everything. So then you got the balancing act. It's kind of like chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is they poison the whole body and they hope that they get the cancer before the poison kills the body. Never happens. There's a 5-year protocol that has to do with the insurance companies, and that's why. They want you to survive for 5 years, and they've gotten the most that they can get out of your insurance, and they let you die. It's to milk the insurance companies. They are a lot of dirty bastards in the cancer industry. It's the only industry.
To Mexico to get healed.
Yes, they do. It's the only industry out there where there are more practitioners, more people working in the industry than there are patients. So it's terrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. But anyway, back to this. With the plants, if you're going to try to kill the fungus, then you have to poison it without poisoning the plants. So the best way to do that is by changing your cultural practices. Fungi grow well in wet environments, low sunlight, things like that. water a little less, make sure it's got better sunlight, those types of things, and you keep it from forming in the first place. Or if you do get a fungus started, you know, like with roses, rose bush gets the black spot disease, and it splashes when the water hits the ground and splashes the spores up onto the leaves. So as your roses get infected, a good tip for you, the leaves on the bottom of the plant that first start showing the black spots, pick them off and eliminate the disease. That's the best way to deal with that, by the way. Anyway, back to this. So this is kind of the same thing. It's changing the cultural conditions within the body. It not only is it killing the pathogens, it appears to be changing the pH of your body to slightly alkaline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I'm going to do 6 drops again. So it changes the pH of your body, and then it oxidizes the pathogens, burns up the metals, that type of thing. It sounds to me like it's great. And it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You count because I'm talking, okay?
Okay.
And I'll lose track.
Well, too late. You're done.
Anyway, so you're changing your cultural conditions, making an oxygen-rich environment where pathogens and poisons are oxidized, and you're changing your pH a little bit. And you can actually get strips that you urinate on that will tell you what your body pH is. We haven't gotten any yet, because like I say, our pockets aren't that deep, and we're not just going to throw the money away. We can,
you get this and saved. You get this. Look at this. I want to show people this real quick.
Oh, there you go. That
can you
one's.
See? Can you see how yellow it is? I hope you guys can see. I should do it this way.
Well,
Sorry.
you should here. Let the light shine through there, and the yellow is showing. We'll hold it the other way, and it's casting yellow onto the the paper.
It's an amber yellow. Okay, now you got to take now. See the amber?
It's amber. Okay.
Take it.
Yep. So that's activated MMS, and it is producing chlorine dioxide right about there. That's good.
Puzzle.
And cheers. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's right up there with tequila. But that's how you do it. Now, I still have a headache a little bit from the last dose. It's never been anything that's not manageable, and I'm cool with it. You know, I'm cool with it. I've not had the diarrhea, this, that, and the other thing. I have had better bowel movements where I've been getting stuff out of me that I can tell has been in me for a long time, and it's not been unpleasant. But I'm having less bloating, and I'm getting kind of a pudgy here in the middle.
I've lost 8 pounds.
Oh yes, Sherri's lost 8 pounds since starting this. So it's cleaning out my system. I can tell. I have positive empirical evidence in my leg and in my feet. Now I can see this, that the swelling is down in both my legs and my feet.
Yeah.
I can see that the skin cancer is getting better in my hand.
Mine are falling off.
I'm cool with it. I think we're onto something great. I think it's a gift from Yahuwah, and we're going for it. And if something comes up and we happen to find out that this coronavirus is real and not some psyop or not predictive programming for the next time, well, this may just be a precursor to the next time when they do it for real.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. It's going to go through we're getting into summer. It's going to go into Europe and make a circuit, and by fall when everything's icky again and the cold and flu season, it's going to hit.
If that's what happens, if it does develop like Sherri seems to think it is, and I don't really think that this one's going to kill everybody in the planet like it did in 1918. I really think that this is predictive programming. I believe that what they're doing is going to turn into a gun grab, and they have to get us used to the idea that Daddy knows best, and when we bring in the UN troops, which are mostly Chinese, to take your guns, that you're just gonna hand them over. And I could do a whole video on that right there.
They know Americans won't, so the 5G mimics the same symptoms as the coronavirus.
Well, there's another thing too, the 5G rolling out. Could be something that the virus and the 5G, it's engineered, they've proven that. But like I said, that's beyond the purview of this video. So let's get back to the subject at hand. Anyway, that's kind of the protocol on the first, on 1000 protocol. And then when you drink it down, you wait an hour, hour and a half. Okay, or you wait 1 hour because it stays in your blood for an hour, your body an hour and a half. Now it said there is a caution here. It says be careful. Some chlorine dioxide gas is likely to escape when MMS and the activator are mixed and are not in a sealed container. It's best to avoid getting a direct whiff of it. Do not mix your dose directly under your nose or mouth. There are times when breathing in the gas in small amounts is called for, and it can be very healing to the lungs and sinuses. But avoid this unless you are under a specific protocol requiring it and know what you are doing, as it is easy to inhale too much. Okay, now, having read that, I had to try it, so I took a big whiff of it, and there were no ill effects.
Yeah,
you know, I wanted to know everything I could about it before I let my little sister do it. So.
Well, what a good idea though with that with the virus, or because it always goes into your nose or your eyes, or you know, then you touching your nose, touching your yeah.
Well, Jim says that there's protocols where it's required. Okay.
You're not supposed to touch your face.
I'm going to read this next little bit. When I first wrote my book, I instructed people to work up to 3 large doses of MMS each day. If you read my first book or any of the... Oh, I would love them. Thank you.
I watched both pairs. I don't know. You don't put
them on. You? Okay. Well, I didn't see them. Okay.
Get glasses on.
Right. If you read my first book or any of a number of random websites that have put up the information from that book and unfortunately have not updated it, then it is time to learn something new. In the beginning, when I was suggesting a larger dose, I always had people work up to it a little bit at a time. Back then, the suggestion was to work up to a 15-drop dose taken 3 times a day. The drawback of the old method was that many people were having a pretty strong Herxmeyer reaction. They would feel a lot worse before they got better. With time and with more experience under my belt, I began to realize that taking smaller doses of MMS1 more often throughout the day brought better results. Perhaps the most important reason for this is because MMS1 only lasts in your system for an hour, possibly an hour and a half at most. So keeping MMS1 running through your system on an hourly basis is imperative.
Hours, yeah.
This way, MMS1 is hitting the pathogens continuously and does not allow pathogens times to regroup and build back up. Instead, being constantly hit without a chance to regroup, they die off. This new method works, and we clearly see positive results. Okay, I think that's probably enough of this. Here we go. I'm going to read this. To sum it up, after years of experience, we've come to learn that most diseases, other than malaria, are substantially more responsive to hourly doses of MMS1 spread out over an 8 to 10 hour period. This is more effective than 1, 2, or 3 large doses per day. This is true for cancer and most diseases. People have been using hourly protocols in recent years with amazing success. There are a few other exceptions to the hourly dose rule other than malaria, such as Protocol 6 and 6, see page 169,
What is that?
and some emergency protocols, see chapter 12. So, to reiterate, I'll let you read it in a minute. Please do not follow instructions that talk about 3 large doses of 15 drops each, unless there is an exception to the rule as mentioned above. So, let's see, this exception, chapter 12. Probably would be better to go look at the page number for chapter 12. Probably be a lot quicker at the end, in the end. Emergency protocols, page 203. And I'm just going to read this to you. Emergency protocols: stings and bites, scorpion stings, bee and wasp stings, spider bites, brown recluse protocol, black widow protocol, snake bite protocol, food poisoning protocol, concussion protocol, stroke protocol, heart attack protocol, burn protocol, 1 week to live protocol.
Wow.
So,
wow,
it's definitely worth investigating further. And it goes into talking about biofilms in chapter 14 also. And like I said, there's going to be a series of these videos that we're going to put out there. The next thing, we're going to add the bentonite clay on a regular basis. Now, I'm past the 21 days. Oh, I didn't mention that. The The 1000 protocol
Yeah, maybe I'm
is
not.
generally, it should be at least 21 days, and then you can change up on it. But anybody that's copying what I'm doing is going to be behind me by about 3 weeks, so I got some time to put the rest of it together. We're going to be, we don't have the DSMO here. We've got a substance called DSMO, and it should be about page 6. It'll explain it. That we're going to be adding to DSMO is dimethyl sulfoxide, a natural substance derived from wood pulp. It is a solvent that dissolves many things that water cannot dissolve, including blood clots, and thus has been known to stop strokes. It's known to have many other healing qualities of its own, as well as enhancing the effectiveness of MMS, helping to carry it deeper into the tissues. So, the DMS, Sherri got it for me. We've got a 16-ounce bottle. We got 2 of them, I think, for like $10 off of Amazon. And my goodness, I think you just use a drop of this with it. I haven't really looked at the protocol that close, but the next step is I'll add the DMSO. Well, actually, the next step is the bentonite clay. And when I do that, I'm not going to take them right together. I'll start my morning protocol. I'll take my first dose of activated marshmallow solution, and then the next hour I'll take a dose of bentonite clay. Then the next hour I'll take the marshmallow solution again. Then either an hour later or a couple hours later, I'll skip a dose of the marshmallow solution and take bentonite clay, and do that about 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how it affects me. What's going to be important in this whole thing is listening to your body. Now, there's also, Jim says, if you get worse, don't stop it. Cut it in half. Whatever you're doing, cut that in half. And it seems like a common sense approach to me.
Alzheimer's, dementia.
Yeah, we'll get to that, Sherri. So like I was saying, if you get feeling bad, don't just stop it unless you're having a real bad reaction. This is what I'm thinking. That's the way I'm going to do it. And if the reaction gets to be too much for me, because I'm saying, I'm taking 6 doses now, or 6 drops now, and that's a pretty stiff dose. So I'm expecting to have more headaches and some more problems, maybe some diarrhea, some nausea. But that's okay, because if it's going to clean my body, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And I want to know. I want to know before anybody that I know, or my sister, happens to get themselves into a situation that's very uncomfortable. You know, I would rather go through it myself than let somebody else go through it. So I need to know. I need to test it on me. I'm the guinea pig. Anyway, like I say, I have Brandon Sibley of the Big Sib YouTube channel to thank for this. Had Brandon not said that he was taking this for 2 years, I never would have tried it. And if I didn't try it, then we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Yes. Sherri would still be in the bedroom. She would still be taking probably between 7 and 10 milligrams of methadone every day, and we would be fighting to get her off of that stuff. So.
Oh, and it's horrible suffering. It's terrible suffering to get off of that.
It is, and when you're coming off of it, it makes you more sensitive to pain. Well, she was taking it for pain, and then she's sensitized to pain, and it was an exponential increase every time in the pain. Every time she would lower the dose, she was that much more miserable. And bless her heart, she did very good at not taking more than she was supposed to and weaning herself off of it. I thought I was going to have to take the pills. I didn't have to, you know, and dole them out to her so it wouldn't be in her power to take more.
Off of it for so long.
But yeah, we want pharmakia out of our lives, and this is one way we can achieve that. So.
Thank you, Alva.
But anyway, thank you, Brandon. If you happen to see this, we sure appreciate you being the guinea pig, because we wouldn't have.
Oh, you my life, Brandon. I really do.
We probably would not have done this had we not heard that Brandon Sibley of the Big Sib YouTube channel was taking it for a couple years. I have a lot of respect for the young man, and he is very, very sincere, and you all would be very wise to go over to his channel and check out some of his videos. And go back a ways and look at the growth in this young man in the last year even. But his last, 2-3 months of videos, just some incredible information in there. But, yeah, go check out the Big Sib. I think I said in one of my earlier videos, I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not out there to try to get 100,000 subscribers and monetize this thing and get rich off of it. What I'm trying to do is we've got a very narrow window of opportunity here. Where it talks about it in Daniel. Is the Bible still over there? Where did we put that?
We had it.
No, there's no telling. I think I put it right here on my desk.
And
There
we
it
have
is.
a lot of people in Discord from Parallel Vineyard Christian Truthers that we love. We love so much.
Yes, we do. And we're hoping that, you know, other people can benefit from this also.
Yeah.
So, do you remember where they put Daniel?
Yeah, in the Bible.
Right.
Old Testament.
Okay. Over here, in
Amazing,
Daniel
only
chapter
59.
12, it's talking about the end time. It says, at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one who is found written in the book. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. And here's the good part, verse 3. Those who are wise shall shine like brightness of the firmament,
Yeah.
and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Now that's called a parallelism. And it's saying the same thing in two lines, saying it a different way so that one line explains the other. Those who are wise and those who turn many to righteousness. In other words, those who defend the commandments, teach the commandments, and do what they can do to take some friends to the kingdom with them.
I can shine.
They're going to shine.
That's why I want to live.
They have a chance to do some good, and they have a chance to make sure they have a good reward. That's what I want. I want a reward from Yahuwah. I want my reward from Yahusha. I don't want my reward from this world.
Me either.
And Brandon says on his channel all the time that he doesn't monetize. He would not monetize, and neither would I.
Really,
We're not looking to make this into a money-making venture. Now there are people out here that are selling this stuff, a 4-ounce bottle of it, mixing it up for maybe a couple of bucks, and they're selling it for $20 for the 4-ounce bottle of the marshmallow solution, and then however much more for a bottle of the activator. I saw one that was a bottle of each that was $40, $39.97 or something like that on here you go, Amazon. And I've heard that a couple of the YouTubers out there are mixing it up and selling it also. And I wouldn't do that. If I mix it up, it's going to be to give it away or to take it myself.
Yep.
So it is not for sale, but if there's somebody that needs some
and go to Amazon to buy it.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than going to that church.
Not necessarily. I haven't checked that out, Sherri.
Yeah, we did. It was it was like $100 for one of those bags. It was out really high.
Was it? I don't remember.
For one of those bags, yeah. And you found it a lot cheaper on Amazon.
Okay, we did, huh?
So, yeah.
Let's just close this down.
Because I know we were looking at the church.
Let's just go back to this here, and I believe.
I thought, oh man, we'll never be able to get that.
Here, where to buy. Genesis 2 Church, right here.
Yeah, go there.
We've got a hyperlink. Let's go there real quick.
Yeah, it was really expensive there. Or it might have been whoever was, I don't know, demonstrating it. But I know it's cheap.
It looks like there's some videos there for Genesis 2 Church. It might be worth checking out.
They'll show you how to mix it all up and stuff,
And there's some information here in the Genesis 2 Church about other things. Taco? I don't know what that is. Crimes, okay. Anyway. Let's go here. Protocols. Okay, where do we find it? Where do we purchase it?
It was let's see. They were mixing it up. And then we looked at at their store. I think they had a store or something somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know it was like over $100 or $100 and more.
Anyway, you've got it here for the Genesis 2 Church. There's a bunch of videos here that might be worth taking a look at if you're interested. And we're going to kind of leave it at that. But I think we kind of covered everything. If there's something you'd like to know out of the book that I've got, or something we didn't cover, leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. We will answer your comment. Other than that, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us, and may Yahuwah bless you and yours. And we will talk to you next time. Look for a video coming out pretty quick here, and we're to the point now to start. I'm going to start asking you to share these videos and to like and subscribe. We're not we're not out there for all the flash and all the pomp.
Nope.
You know, we're just a couple of believers that want to share what we've got, what little bit we got, and you know, if somebody's helped by it, great. So with that, we'll say good night.
Shabbat shalom. It's Saturday night, so
Oh,
it's after Shabbat, but shalom. Love you
Good
guys.
night, everybody. Bring this up.